Well, if this is the start of the video, I thought this was going to be good because Hendo, I thought it told me Hendo was in here already. There we go. There he is. Where is he? Where is he?
G'day.
All
It's a bit like that, isn't it?
right.
Oh, wow.
What's happening?
Week. Oh, I had a good weekend, eh?
Keen to hear about it. You got a beer?
I do, actually. I haven't.
Wait, are you doing the backup recording? Because
fuck.
Sorry, I'm paranoid now.
Yeah, don't pin me because otherwise I appear on all the YouTube.
Wait, what?
We had another bloody another YouTube video where it's just me.
I don't pin you, Hendo. It's just what it does. It doesn't swap. Fuck's sake.
Hey, that looks like a little bit of a studio going on there. What's
not quite? I'm in between moves again.
Oh man.
Yeah. Moving house is actually nowhere near as fun as I remember it being. I remember it being pretty fun. I've moved house a lot.
What?
Yeah, I just like it.
Fuck,
it's like cleaning out all the shit. I remember it being reasonably cheap. It's a fucking nightmare.
It's none of those things now.
No. Anyway, what beer you got, mate?
I've got this long stocking Irish stout. I thought I'd have something dark this evening.
Nice. That's not sponsored, is it?
No, not sponsored. No.
We got no sponsorship this week.
No sponsorship this week. What do you got?
I got a Black Ops East Coast Haze.
Oh, that's the way.
No sponsorship.
Well, we need to work on that, don't we?
We do. If you're interested in sponsoring the show, send us free shit. Yep. And then
I'll tell you what I will do, though, is rather than make a mess of my desk, I'm going to put my glass on this Lexicon half.
Hell yeah.
Fucking thingamajiggo.
That's awesome. Sorry, I fucking didn't. Won't give me a second. Here we go.
Well, let me swap hands because that way I won't appear in the light.
Brilliant. Show us the beer. Nice. Looking a little flat already, but that's okay.
I picked a dark beer so you can't see how dirty the glass is.
No, but look at the head. It's just disappeared in front of our very eyes.
That's my dirty glass.
Yeah. It looks so good.
It
looks like Coca-Cola.
That's nice. Pretty roasty.
What's the ABV on that one?
I don't know. Let's have a look here. Pour the rest of that in. What do we got here? 4.6, I think.
Ooh, I like those sort of session. Well, I don't know what the word is, but the lower ABV
session stout, summer stout.
Yeah.
Anyway,
did you ever have the Fortitude Brewing Stout?
Yeah. The one they did on Nitro was excellent.
Yeah, they did like a 4% stout. We used to drink the shit out of that when we were home brewing Black Ops.
Oh my God, that was good. They need to bring that back. Get the brewery back. So, yeah.
What's happening up there? They got that catchment are taking it over, aren't they? But it's taking a long time.
Oh, Fortitude. I think so, yeah. I don't know 100% of the details there, but I believe that's on the cards. And they also took over, what was the name of that pub in Paddington there near Suncorp Stadium, which I can't remember the name of.
Oh, did they?
I should know this off the top of my head. But
I should know this as well because I used to live about
Google
50
Maps.
meters from there, but I do not know the place you're talking about.
What is it? Darling and Co, I think it is.
What was it before then? Is it on Caxton Street?
Yeah, no, Given Terrace. So
Given Terrace. Yeah. Up the top. Oh, yeah.
What's it called now? Unforgiven. Yeah, Darling and Co.
Opposite the paddock?
A little bit further down at the end of Castlemaine Street.
Okay.
So, yeah. But, yeah, good weekend in Melbourne. Had a great time.
Tell me about the F1. Wait, first of all, tell me about the Palmers.
The Palmer was excellent. My last Palmer at Mrs. Palmer's and I thought that I would splash out, and I got the macaroni cheese parma.
Oh, damn, that sounds good.
And so basically, it's a parma with a big, massive serving of macaroni and cheese on it. And one of my friends had the Vindaloo one.
Wow.
Very spicy. And what else was there? I think one of my friends had the Parmageddon, which is the chili one.
Whoa.
Have you ever been?
I don't think so. Maybe to drink beer like back in the day, but yeah, not for food.
Man, you missed out, man. Never to be seen again. So I had a really good chat with one of the owners, Fiona. When I booked
Fiona.
And also owner Fiona, yep. And they were just rammed. People just getting their last Parma in. But she took some time out and had a chat, and they were basically, they just said, look, we've been doing this for 14 years and we're buggered.
Fair.
And we're going to take and the lease is up. We're going to take some time out, and we're just going to take some time out. And then they'll come back in 3 months and maybe sell the brand or something like that. So
nice.
Great brand to buy.
Well, I hope they did well out of it. I always think if people are kind of going to the effort of starting a business, it's fucking torture from pillar to post. So hopefully it was worth it.
Yeah. Oh, look, I think, they were very passionate about that. Doing, like, they literally were working in the place. And, and she was there taking orders, running drinks, running plates. You got a huge amount of respect, for them, and they only Victorian beer on tap there, only Victorian beer at all, actually. And so it's pretty good. It was just great service, good food. It just did what it says on the tin, It wasn't, it was just a really good place to go.
It was an institution.
A bit of a Melbourne institution. And I realized that once I posted that I was going there, all these other, and I think it was in the Boston the Brewer Facebook group, actually, all these other people posted photos of me taking them there. Like PK posted a photo.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, there's all these other people that posted photos of when I took them there. So clearly this is a me thing just because I like Mrs. Palmer. So
yeah, nice.
In the fan club. But good on the crew there. I'm super stoked for them. I hope they get some time out. And do
you have any decent beer there as well?
At Palmer's?
Yeah.
I had they do like a house lager, which is pretty good. And then I had I think that a Three Ravens tropical ale. And then they've always got Beachy Pale on.
Nice.
So
that always goes well.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's pretty good.
Do you remember, I should have organized this before the show and I didn't, but do you remember our predictions for the F1 last week? We did do predictions.
Yeah, I think you said Leclerc was, you said Sainz was going to do well.
I did. Okay, I remember that one. I don't remember the other one.
That was the quali though, wasn't it?
Let me have a look if I wrote it down in the show notes, because I normally give up.
That'd be good.
That would be good. No, I sure didn't.
I'm pretty sure you fucked it up.
Yep. I get bored about halfway through. It's a lot. I wrote down 20 fucking mentions of different breweries on that show notes and all the stats.
Nice.
That we'd quoted. So give me a break. But anyway, how was the F1? And did your predictions
a lot of
come
fun.
to fruition?
Leclerc did really well. I can't remember who I said second and third. I
think you might have been spot on because you didn't.
I said Verstappen, and I think I said Hamilton would have come in third, but it was actually George Russell. So, and Hamilton came in fourth. But it was great. Only had like general admission tickets.
Yeah.
And so that just implies that you're going to do a lot of walking. And we went in on the Friday and we just did we walked the whole circuit and just stopped and drank beers and stuff.
Where do you drink beers?
they just have bars around the place. You get Heineken,
Yeah, right.
and that's it.
And
Just drink
you can
beer.
see cars and shit driving around, or you can hear them, or
While you're having a beer.
just generally.
Oh yeah, you're right in
Yeah.
the thick of the action. Yeah. You can't get to the pit straight because it's all grandstand, so you can't.
Right.
So as a general admission, you can't get there. But we had a really good spot on the Friday at turn 1 and turn 2.
So Friday's
Right,
practice.
It was practice. There was some V8s on.
Oh yeah.
It was pretty good. The V8 racing was excellent. Then we sort of walked up around near turn 6, turn 7, and hung out there for a bit. And on the Saturday, we watched the quali. Where did we watch that? Kind of around. We kind of stayed around the same place the next 2 days because we just found a good spot that worked, and they were just going flat out.
I am actually legitimately intrigued. Like, are you sitting on seats? How does this
No,
work?
no,
Is it TVs? No.
No, these are the cheap seats, mate.
Yeah.
So basically, it's the race, the circuit is on a golf course.
Okay.
Right. And so you're basically walking around the golf course, and they got like barricades off so you don't go walk on the greens and tees and all that sort of stuff. And that golf course just got flogged, but I reckon they would have made a good amount of money.
It was I think it was the biggest live weekend of sports ever.
Yeah, it was nearly
In
500,000 people. Yeah. It was huge. And so basically, because it's a golf course, there's all mounds and stuff all over the place. There's plenty of places to get a good vantage.
Can you hear shit though? Like, do you know what's
Holy
happening?
shit, yeah.
But,
Yeah.
but not just the cars. Do you know what's happening in?
Yeah, because basically all along the barriers, there's a loudspeaker every other section, so they're just constantly talking about.
So you
what's
hear
going
commentary.
on. You can hear commentary, yeah, and you can see a TV. If you're near a stand, you could usually see a TV.
Do you know exactly what's going on during quali? Like,
not quite, because the internet was very terrible there.
Yeah, because you got a lot of people like jamming
so many
4G
people in one place.
Yeah.
So I couldn't pull up like usually I have my phone with ESPN stats or something like that, live stats.
But like when Alonso crashed in qualifying, like when he was on his lap and he was smashing it, and he had like the first 2 sectors purple. Do you know that when you're there, or do you only know that when you're watching it on TV?
I didn't know that in particularly.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I if I was going to do the Grand Prix again, I wouldn't do general admission.
Okay.
I was pretty much saying I had a lot of fun, saw a lot of cool shit, a lot of fast cars, was loud, and it was quite enjoyable. A lot of walking. So next year I'm going to drop a couple of grand on a good ticket, I think.
Why don't? Because I think like just like a box of sorts, Boss and the Brewer, Lexicon situation.
Yes.
Fans
only.
I
had a mate of mine who had a ticket in the pit entry stand, and his view was awesome. He just had a ball.
How much? It costs a fuckload of money, doesn't it? I looked into it a couple of years ago.
$2,000 a head. That's a cheap ticket in the stand.
For what? For one person?
Yes.
It's like 20 grand to hire like a 10-person situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
So anyway, we'll do it next year.
We can make that work. Sponsorship.
You've got to drop some good money on good things in life,
That's true. I'd be keen. I don't want to do it until it's that good.
Yes. You wouldn't. I'm glad I did general admission, because one of the things I really did like about it is I got really familiar with the track, because I didn't really know much about it.
Yeah.
And when you walk around, you go, oh, okay, that's that turn and that's that turn. And you kind of understand a little bit more about how the cars go around the circuit and that sort of thing. But next year, I'm going to be in a corporate box or some sort of hospitality, spend a lot of money, all your beers included, all your food included, covered.
You think next year, will they do it as the first race next year?
Don't know yet.
Because my plan for my 40th was to go get a bunch of mates and go to the F1. And next year's my 40th. Technically, my 40th was in 2020. However, COVID.
Yes.
So I'm making my 40th next year.
Okay.
So if they do it as the first race of the year, it's March when I have my 40th.
Yeah.
Which is basically when it's more or less when F1 starts. If they do it as the first race of the year, it would time perfectly with my 40th.
That sounds great. Sign me up.
Okay. Let's do that. And what did you think of the results?
Excellent. Ferrari's doing great. That's what making me pretty happy because it's not Red Bull and Mercedes. That's why I really like it at the moment. The racing's pretty close, you know. Most of the cars are finishing on this lead lap, and they don't look close when you're watching them because you feel there's a bit of a gap, you know. But it's still good racing, you know. I really enjoyed it.
It's a good start to the year. I think Leclerc's looking. Sainz has had some bad luck. Verstappen's had some bad luck. Leclerc's going to be hard to catch, I think. A big fucking lead, and he's very good. You know what I think? This is my only prediction for this year was that Russell would outscore Hamilton, because my thesis with Lewis Hamilton, which feels a bit hateful, and I don't like to be negative, but I just think he's in a sport where he's been in the best car out of everyone for year after year after year after year, and he's had a shitty teammate. So I don't think so. Okay, he's won 7 world titles, which is awesome, but I don't put that in the same league as like Kelly Slater winning 11 world titles in surfing, when every single time he goes to an event, he's competing with the same equipment against 20 people, and he has to be the best out of 20 people with the same equipment. Yes. And he's won that 11 times. To me, that is way, way, way more impressive than what Lewis has done. My thesis the whole time with Lewis is that he is an awesome driver, but there's probably 4 other drivers in F1 currently, let alone of all time, that are every bit as good as Lewis. And that's what interests me about this year.
George Russell definitely up there as well. Yeah. Because remember when George Russell, when he was driving for Williams and he got that one race in Bahrain, to go race in the Mercedes, because he comes from the Mercedes youth program, whatever it is.
Yeah.
He would have won that race. I don't think they let him. They let him.
No, he ended up having a mechanical failure, didn't he? But he was going to win the race.
Tires or something. Yeah, something happened. Anyway.
But yeah, I think Leclerc, Russell, Lando, Verstappen. That's 4 drivers currently who I think are every bit as good as Lewis Hamilton. So I don't buy into the greatest of all time situation.
Great weekend. Highly recommend it, mate.
All right, next year for my 40th.
Count me in.
All right. We've got a few topics this week and some fan questions, 12 questions. First one, Birchal crowdfunding raises $3 million via Birchal crowdfunding raise.
Crowdception.
Do you want me to say that again?
Yeah, go on.
All right, sorry. Birchal crowdfunding raises $3 million via Birchal crowdfunding's crowdfunding raise.
Fuck's sake.
Okay.
How much did they raise in the end?
They raised $3 million. That was their maximum. They did it in about half an hour because I was watching the fucking thing. I was busy working because I put my name down to invest in it. And it came out and I was busy working. I had meetings and shit. And I was like, oh, the Birchal thing's out. Went on the thing, got on the website, downloaded the offer document, started reading it because I do want to read something before I invest in something. And got dragged off into another meeting. And then literally, I mean, I don't know how fast it was. I'm sure the headlines will say, but it was the entire $3 million was gone in what felt like an hour or less, or an hour or two.
Amazing. So I was thinking about that today, right? And I kept thinking about Emperor Palpatine from Star Wars.
That's too many syllables. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, you watch Star Wars, don't you?
I guess.
Right. You know who the Emperor Palpatine is?
Okay, that's 2 words. Okay, got it. Yes, the Emperor?
Yeah, the Emperor.
Okay.
Right. And I was thinking today, like whether it was legal for a crowdfunding platform to crowdfund on its own crowdfunding platform. Whether there would be some conflict of interest there and that sort of thing. But clearly there's not.
Well, Matt, one of the co-founders of Birchal, is a lawyer
and
he's very good. So I think he would have checked that.
Yeah. So it was basically Matt who I was thinking of today because I was thinking, is it legal? And then here's Matt in Emperor Palpatine's clothes going, I will make it legal.
Okay. Emperor, when you said Emperor Palpatine, I thought you were talking about a beer fault.
No, I was talking about Star Wars.
I mean, it could be a beer fault.
I will make it a beer fault.
All right. All right. Well, good on the Birchal crew. I think it's awesome. I do think they should release the offer document beforehand, though.
Did you buy in?
I didn't have fucking time to. I wanted to read the document and have meetings. I didn't have time, so no, I didn't.
Oh,
I thought it was very good value. Like, look at it was a $44 million valuation. Their revenue, like from the very quick skim that I gave, I think it was something like $3 million revenue or $2.5 million revenue, and profit was like over $1 million. It was like, I was looking at it thinking, holy shit, this is like a pretty fucking good business.
Interesting.
Super high growth, great team. I would have 100% bought into it, but I did want to read the document properly before doing so. So I think if anything, if they want to move away from the idea that it's a hype thing, you are investing money. I think they need to give people a bit more time to read the document. But that said, I think it's fucking awesome. They did really well, and I'm really happy for them. And I think it's cool.
Yeah.
So speaking about things that are cool, you sent me this one. Resh's Dinner Ale is making a comeback.
Yes.
Tell me about this. I don't know anything about. I remember Resh's from back.
Do you know what Resh's is? Yeah. So Resh's beer brand got bought out by CB, and then was discontinued in amongst all the things, but managed to keep a bit of a cult following. It was one of those beers, I think, that you had to be from Sydney or New South Wales to drink Resh's.
New South Wales, yeah.
Like back in the day when I was young and beer used to be very parochial. No Queenslander would drink Resh's.
No, I knew about it. It was like, we thought it was just disgusting.
But Resh's Dinner Ale, right? The thing that I found that was very interesting. Oh, you've disappeared. Are you still there?
I'm still here.
Oh, okay. So the thing that I found that was really interesting was there was like in that particular story, it was like, okay, they're bringing back Dinner Ale. Awesome.
Just to interrupt. The Resh's Dinner Ale, is that different to the Resh's?
Yes.
Resh's
Pilsner. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Right. It was like a fancy,
the silver bullet can. That's Resh's Pilsner.
Okay.
They bring that back every now and then, but Dinner Ale's different.
Okay.
It's ale for dinner. It's what's for dinner.
So it's like a table beer type situation.
Oh, I suppose. But what I found really interesting was that lots of descriptions about the fans and the punters and how it's got a cult following and all that sort of stuff. But and CUB saying, oh, we love bringing back these old brands and the emotional sentiment and all that sort of stuff. No fucking description of what the beer is like.
That's fair. Did you read the thing about the Resh's Appreciation Society or whatever?
Yeah, it's like a Facebook group.
Yeah.
It's a big group too.
Are you in it?
No. I got a mate who's in it, Adam Shell.
Which one?
On the other one.
Okay.
Yeah, he's in it. He loves it.
So it's just nostalgia. I'm fine with that. Are you fine? That's cool, isn't it?
No, I don't have a problem. I think the nostalgia is great, and if there's a lot of people passionate about, nostalgic about a brand, that sort of thing, that's awesome. But I just think they didn't describe what Dinner Ale is.
Yeah.
Like, what is it? I don't know what it is.
It's like the table beer for bogans.
Suppose.
Based on everything you've told me.
Yeah.
All right. Should we get some?
If we can, yeah. Can we get it up here? I don't know.
All right. Let's see if we can get it. We'll do a live tasting
of Dinner Ale. If anyone in the Resh's Appreciation Society can get their hands on some Dinner Ale, we would love to hear from you.
I'm going to put this into Facebook right now, see what Is it? It's a Facebook group. Yeah.
Mm.
Resh's appreciation. Here we go. What are we working with? No, that's a page.
Is it?
Now, that's a page, not a group. Oh, yeah, groups. Oh no, here we go. 12,000 members.
That's pretty impressive.
Beer we drink around here. Low carb, purified water, added lime, pale, light boutique. If you're like me, you've had enough of poonsy additives and marketing waffle, and pray for a day when we can all return to drinking good, honest beer at a reasonable price. Resh's would be low carb, wouldn't it?
Sure.
Be low as shit. All right. Fuck, that's cool. All right, I'm going to join this. But I don't know if I appreciate Resh's enough. I'll see if they'll let me in.
Give it a go, mate. I've got a map that says be directed to where they know that Resh is. Oh, there's some places in Brisbane. Here we go.
Okay. All right. Well, I've requested to join the group.
It's at Aspley Central Tavern. It is at Wing House by Bavarian.
It is also
Little Big House has got it.
We need to get hold of some tins.
Little Big House, Mr. Badges. I can't believe Little Big House has it. Okay. Let's do that.
All right. Well, if we can somehow
Probably
get
on
organized
tap,
enough
though.
to get some Hollandia, some Resh's, and some Rivet,
Yep.
we can do a three-way tasting and see what's good.
What a smackdown.
All right.
Pretty good.
Next up, we have. This was an interesting one. Do you see this one? We got an email from an anonymous,
Yes.
concerned brewer.
Should we read it out because it's not overly wordy, but I think it's a really interesting situation.
It is.
Shall I read it out?
It's quite long.
Yes.
I'm happy for you to read it out. Yes.
Yes. So it says, "G'day Dan and Hendo. I'm a brewer working at a craft brewery, not Black Hops Dan, don't worry. And long story short, myself and my brewer co-workers are at our wits' end with the company culture. To put it bluntly, the production team doesn't get any love. At a recent awards ceremony, those present to accept awards and celebrate achievements were the head brewer, 2IC, team leader brewer, and entire marketing team, and the operations manager. No other brewers were present or permitted to attend the after party. We're still yet to be thanked, credited for brewing the beer that has won the company awards. It might just be my thought, but maybe a few other brewers should be present at an awards ceremony celebrated by beer brewed, not beer marketed. This topped off a particularly shit Christmas period where the entire production team was pushed to the limit day after day for 4 months, being given unrealistic production goals that could not be met. The morale is at rock bottom. We're being pressured by poor production scheduling, causing our standards in many areas to slip and mistakes to be made. We collaborated and collected our thoughts as a team, and our team leader has had a sit down with senior management. We believe our thoughts were concise, and we trust our team leader to voice them honestly and not pull any punches. The response of senior management was to order some pizzas, sit us down, and give us a long-winded speech that could be shortened to hey guys, thanks for your efforts so far, but it's not going to get any easier, so knuckle down and keep going, okay? Since then, no other efforts to boost morale or improve the state of production has been attempted. We're at the end of our rope. Nothing is getting easier. No one is happy, and no one believes it will get better. Our team leader has tried to voice our concerns, but is shut down at every turn. We voiced our concerns with the HR department, to which they then pass the buck onto other department heads who mysteriously don't answer emails regarding these issues. I genuinely love the work that I do and the people I work with, and I want to make a positive impact here to make things better. I don't want to leave before I've had at least made an effort to make the working lives of everyone here better. Do either of you have any advice to help me or my co-workers? Thanks for your time. Long live the mighty 12, from a concerned brewer.
This is one of the first legitimate emails we've got, and it's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah. My advice to a concerned brewer is pretty simple. This is not an uncommon issue in rapidly growing high volume breweries and that sort of thing. Not uncommon at all. My advice is leave. It is it's an employees market out there at the moment. There is a shortage. Don't think for a fucking second and don't believe what your employer would tell you in that if you leave there, you won't get a job somewhere else. There is plenty of work going. There is a skills shortage. and there are upward wage pressures on breweries and brewery owners. Now, that can lead to a couple of situations, right? So if you've got upward pressure on wages, then that means that that brewery owner or brewery manager is going to understaff the brewery to try and squeeze more volume out of less wages, which is got to do that anyway, but to a point. But there is, for experienced brewers, there is plenty of work out there. And if you're not afraid to take the leap, then take the leap. If you choose to stay, right, and that is also an option, my advice to you in that respect is make sure the brewery is safe, first and foremost. Because the moment that you have stressed brewers, you have overworked brewers, working too many hours, aggressive production targets, and there has to be production targets, that's just the nature of the business. But the moment that corners start to get cut is when accidents can potentially happen. And that would, and from a personal level to a concerned brewer, that would be my biggest concern for you. My concern for Mr. or Mrs. Misconcerned is stay safe. 100%. 100%. There's some really good head brewers out there and brewery managers operating out there who are very, very good operators. There's one in particular who they have a toolbox meeting every day, usually around shift changeover, and they have like a dashboard of all the really important stats that are going on in the brewery. Are we meeting our production targets? Have there been any safety incidents? Did you go home on time last night? Did you get some exercise this week? Asking on a daily basis about well-being stuff takes fucking 5 minutes, and you write on a board for each people. And then that brewery, that team leader, that brewery manager can start to see on a whiteboard history over the last 30 days as to what's been going on. And you can see at a glance, and anyone can see it, like if there was something like that at your brewery, you could walk through the brewery and actually see which of the staff members are happy and which ones aren't without even asking them, and so having those sorts of dashboards really, really important. So it doesn't sound like a particularly happy brewery, and unhappy breweries can tend to be unsafe breweries if left unchecked.
Yeah. I think your advice is fucking spot on. I don't have anything to add to it other than to say the award thing, I think, is, I 100% agree with the concerned brewer that I think the people going to beer awards should be the brewers. And that's something that we're trying to work on and trying to figure out how to do that.
Exactly.
It sounds like founders.
Exactly. It sounds like in this brewery that the production team have been largely ignored.
I mean, at the end of the day, like the beer awards that I'm aware of are all the ones that matter really. Since they shut the beeries down, or they're no longer doing that, they're all blind tasting beer. So there's nothing that goes into winning those awards, really out of anything in the company other than the people making the beer. So the people going to those should be the brewers.
Yes.
And I think leaving is the right call. I'm just conscious that we don't have any idea where this person's from or what their other options are. And I know people are loyal to companies and brands and whatnot, but you're spot on when you say it's an employee's market. This is going to become a really big thing, big thing. Like keeping brewers happy, HR related things, safety related things has become by far my biggest focus in my job, it was never ever that. It was always marketing or something else or finance. But HR is massive.
The thing is, right, it's not hard to keep brewers happy, right? Any brewer who works on a production floor in a busy sort of growing brewery only wants a couple of things that are really easy for management to deliver on. First is recognition of their work.
Yeah.
And again, I think it's important for the brewery manager to sort of set what the expectations are and to celebrate the wins when they need to be celebrated, and to bring people into line when they're not, because that does happen as well. Everyone needs a clear pathway with regards to what the production plan is coming up, and what their role is on a day-to-day basis. If you've got a brewery, to give you a hypothetical example, where they haven't given you your shift roster for a minimum of 3 months in advance, so you can plan life and family and days off and all that sort of stuff, then that's really hard, especially if you're doing shift work, you're doing night shift and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
If you've got a family, you want to be able to plan around that, because brewing shift work can be really shitty hours and that sort of thing, especially maybe you're doing night shift. And the other thing is training and skills development.
Yeah.
They just want to be able to do, I'm not speaking for every brewer, but most brewers want to be able to do all of the individual jobs that happen within the brewery.
Yeah.
And
do interesting work as well, as opposed to kind of
they want to learn something new. And because you're working at a big brewery like yours or something like that, if you're just on the brew house doing work production every day, it gets boring after a while, And so if you're switching around doing jobs, good brewery has like a skills matrix to sort of, say, here are all the jobs that happen in our brewery. If you go learn all these jobs, then there's some KPIs there. It might be pay rise for you, or some other benefit or something like that. And it's a win-win, because the brewery gets better skilled workers and the worker is happy.
Yeah, I think what you said is bang on. I would probably push back on you saying that it's easy, because as someone who runs a business with almost 100 people that's growing, doubling every year, it would be easy to work in a business like that and think, oh, it's easy to keep everyone happy. Management doesn't care. I can tell you it's not fucking easy. I appreciate everything you said, but I can tell you it's not fucking easy.
Sorry, when I said it's easy, I meant from the brewer's perspective. It's easy to keep a brewer happy, but those things are not easy to implement. Yeah.
It's pretty challenging. And I think if, like, based on the description, like, I don't know anything about the ownership of this company, but it's like, it's very, very hard. And it's actually quite scary, like in our industry, and even, distilling even more so than us, like, no one has enough money to do all the shit. Like you mentioned safety, which I thought was a really, really good point. There's never enough money to do all the shit you want to do. And it's, the margins are so tight. Everyone wants to be paid more, which is 100% fair. It's very, very difficult to line it all up. And so I don't want to, and, obviously you wish you knew more about this exact situation. I don't want to kind of tell them to suck it up. And, but I do just have somebody who doesn't brew beer for a decent sized business, but someone that runs a decent sized business. I do want to just point out that it may not be that they don't care. It might be fucking difficult for them to figure all this out. But the awards thing, I think, is bang on. Like one thing we're doing now is for the ABAs, we're going to have like a program where if you've been there a couple of years, you get, an interstate trip. And so that we'll be able to bring brewers to these things. But then there's so much to consider in these things. Like there's, what about the brewers that can't come? It's very expensive. What about the staff who aren't brewers that don't get those things? So you got to weigh all of that up. But I think generally the people going to those things and celebrating and being celebrated in the company when you win those things should be the people making the product, because they are the business, really.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was a tricky one. Well, hopefully we answered. We helped with your answer. Number 4 on our list is Why Buy Craft Lagers, which is the name I gave to it. Actually, I don't have the image in there, but you sent me this, didn't you? Stephen Beaumont Craft Lager question.
Yeah, do you know who Stephen Beaumont is?
I don't, but I like the question.
He is a beer writer, very famous beer writer. I met him at Brewski when he was in town. Had lunch with him and Matt Kirkegaard, actually. And
you guys talk about lagers?
Yeah, of course. His website is Beaumont Drinks, I believe. And guy's a dude. He's very knowledgeable beer writer. And what does he do? Books. World Atlas of Beer. We'll Travel for Beer. The Pocket Beer Book.
All right.
World's Best Beer.
What's his question?
So what he said, he posted this on Facebook. He says, I was reminded yesterday of a time in the mid to late 1990s in Canadian beer when, in an attempt to broaden their market share and widen their sales, multiple Ontario craft breweries came out with mainstreamish lagers, and multiple British Columbia craft breweries jumped on board the hemp beer blonde ale train. It got so bad for a while that a writer friend out west gave up his regular beer column because he couldn't justify counselling people to buy craft beers that were virtually indiscernible from what was being sold for less money by the big national breweries. You know how many of those beers are still around today? None. Take from that what you will. Very good post. And I think what he's trying to say there is that a craft brewery should never attempt to be like a mega lager brewery.
Well, what do you define as a? I get his point too, but what do you define as a craft brewery?
What do you mean?
Well, if you say a craft brewery should never attempt to become a mega brewery.
No. They should not attempt to make beers like the mega breweries. So
okay,
you wouldn't expect Black Hops, for instance, to go and brew something like Great Northern
or a Stone and Wood, for example, to Brewer.
Well, Stone and Wood actually would give that a point of differentiation. To be fair, even though
they're the
it's
example that you're talking about, aren't they? They literally just tried to brew a beer that directly competes with Great Northern.
Yes, well, absolutely, yes. Yes. Sorry, you're talking about Green Coast Mid. Sorry, I thought you were talking about Pacific Ale.
No,
Green. Yep, exactly. And how's it going against the Black Marlin or the White Marlin?
I imagine not too well. I didn't think it would go too well, and I could be wrong because I've been wrong many times. But
exactly.
And I think Modus made a big deal about their one. There's going to be more. I think there's as you sip on the Hollandia. I agree.
Well, the thing is, right, is that it's bloody hard to make mainstream mega lager.
Yeah,
it's really fucking hard. There's nowhere to hide. It's
very
very
easy
to
doing
chuck
it really well.
Who?
Better Beer.
Yeah,
they're selling millions of liters of this shit.
Yeah, but is it going to get as big as Great Northern?
Why does it have to get as big as Great Northern? They're selling millions of liters of beer a year.
Yeah, it's interesting though. You got to be. I mean, there's big, and then there's really, really big.
No, but they're saying he's not saying don't do it because you won't get as big. He's saying don't do it because it's not craft.
He's saying don't do it because you won't be around in 10 or 20 years.
Yeah, or he's saying don't do it because it's not craft and it's not interesting enough to be different.
Yeah, no, I think he's just saying it's just if you try and make something that's the same as the big guys, then you've got no point of difference. And what's the point?
I mean,
it's not saying lager at all.
If you think about it,
because there are some bloody good lagers out there from some craft breweries.
But that's the thing, like the bigger ones, like if you think about Better Beer, Like, what's different between Great Northern and Hollandia? What's better about Great Northern?
What's better about Great Northern?
Yeah. That's the most popular beer in the country, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're the one winning the battle we're talking about. What's better about that?
Price.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
So it's cheaper than Hollandia?
Oh, it's not cheaper than. Oh, it's up there. What's a box of?
It's not pricing though. It's marketing.
Marketing. Price a big part though.
It's cheap. It's cheap liquid marketed well. So the difference is marketing. So why not?
Well,
why
it's
not
$47 for a box of Great Northern Black Marlin. It's 53 for Hollandia.
All right, so it's basically the same. It's not the biggest in the country because it's the cheapest. It's the biggest in the country because they did the marketing really well.
Yes.
So on that basis, if you look at the better beer situation, they're doing the marketing very well and they're doing quite well. So what's the problem?
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if there's it's expensive to do the marketing though.
Yeah, unless you got a couple of million followers already.
And you've got to be doing, a lot of volume to justify that marketing spend.
Yeah.
And that makes it hard for the typical craft brewery to play in that space.
I think it's more about like our whole reason for existing is we want to do more interesting shit than you can buy.
Yes.
From CUB and Lion. I mean, that was the whole reason this thing existed in the first place.
Yeah.
And now, like if you take his post, like why would you not apply that to XPA, hazy, IPA, pale ale, all the best XPAs and hazies and IPAs and pales in the country are owned by Lion and CUB. So then what's the point of any craft brewery?
Well, I guess that's always been their objective, really, isn't it? From the big brewers is to get into the space of hazies and pale ale and IPA even and all that sort of thing and stop losing market share.
Well, I think they've done it pretty fucking effectively in the last 4 or 5 years.
I don't know if they've stopped losing. They haven't. I don't know if they've lost market share, but they haven't grown their market share from craft. And I think for them, it's just a battle to make. They're buying market share. So
I think if you looked at the percentage of, I don't know how we define craft anymore, but if you like the sort of beers that we're making that we always thought were crafty, that is owned by the majors now, compared to when we started, it's through the fucking roof. And it always used to be, they'd buy a brand and they'd fuck it up and it'd be fine. But now they buy brands and they're pretty fucking good. Over in WA, apparently Biggie Juice just flies out the door. It's cheap. It's fucking delicious.
Really?
Apparently. It's massive over there.
Did you have someone you were over there?
Sure didn't.
Well, fuck.
I went to some craft breweries owned by individual founders and groups of people who were having a crack and I supported them. But yeah.
Good on you.
Thanks, Stephen Beaumont. It wasn't a question to us, but we've got a few of those as well. Oh, I meant to send you this. Brick Lane had an article in the AFR, which I'm a member of, and I could have copied it all and sent it to you, but I kind of ran out of time. So we potentially do that one next week, maybe, because I'd like you to read it, maybe.
Sure.
And all right, we'll pick that one up next week. It was interesting though, because a lot of stuff on Low Alc had their revenue numbers and their volume numbers, and pretty interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
Number 6 on our list is brew founder steps down. Do we do brew stories on this podcast? Or we've stayed away from it, haven't we?
Good old Kent Grogan. What a fucking
Careful. We're friends of brewers on this show.
Oh, I knew I've brewed Brew.
Have you?
Yes. I was at Southern Bay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. They started there?
I think so, yeah.
Right. They were contracted.
This is 2012, yeah. And we brewed Brew. And Yeah. You always know you're gonna, when you're a contract brewer and people want to make their beer at your facility, you can always tell the ones that are serious, because they're the ones that are serious talk about their beer and their product and how they want it to be.
Well, this might be a perfect example of
kickers-
exactly what Stephen Beaumont was talking about.
That's correct. The tire kickers are the ones that talk about their brand and themselves and all that sort of thing. Very easy, very, very easy to pick which side of the fence you're on there. And
Well, that said, these guys have been around for quite a long time and they're still in business.
yes,
Let me check
Yes.
their
because they
market
keep
cap.
taking money. They keep taking money, mate.
What's their market cap here? We've got $8.5 million market cap. They're starting to tank, I think. I've never seen it that low.
It's just been.
They were up around they were. I mean, this entire time they've been trading like an actively traded stock
Yes.
at a high valuation as long as I can remember. It's
Yes.
wild.
There's a Facebook page called Brew Beer. Where are my shares?
Well, the shares are on the ASX.
This is like what they did years ago. Was they
yes, you buy a carton of beer and you get
buy
shares.
a carton of beer, you get a share or something like that.
Basically, the early version of crowdfunding.
Yes.
So, did you read this? Because it says he was a founder. He stepped down, but he's going to be general manager of the brew beer category. I mean, do they have categories? I don't know. But he still says he's gone from. It says step down. I'm reading the Brews News article.
Yeah.
Step down. But he's still general manager. So what's he? He's just not a director anymore. Is that the?
Who knows? It's a pretty sketchy fucking thing going on, because it was funny when they went to go build that brewery in Ballarat.
Yeah.
And it was going to brew something like 180, 200 million litres of beer per year, which is just massive. Puts it up there with one of the biggest breweries in the country.
Yeah.
And
it was a vacant site though, wasn't it? It was land.
It was a vacant site.
Yeah.
But the day that it was announced, I went, that's not possible. You can't build a brewery in Ballarat that has that amount of production capacity, because even if you have some of the world-class water usage,
there's council rules and stuff, right?
Well, it's 2 or 3. No, that's the thing, right? 2 or 3 litres of water per litre of beer produced, right? Which is ace water efficiency in a brewery, as you would know. Really, really world-class, top-tier stuff.
Yeah.
Even if they were doing that, do you know how Ballarat gets its water? Where its water comes from?
I don't know anything about Ballarat, where it is.
Ballarat gets its water from the Murray River, and they have this pipe coming from the Murray River all the way down to Ballarat. It's called Super Pipe.
Oh,
and I did a little bit of Googling on the day that it was that it got announced, and that brewery operating at full capacity would have taken, I think it was something around 30 or 40% of the total capacity of this super pipe. And I just went, that's not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
That makes sense. When we're at Gauge, they were just saying they're brewing all of it. Hopefully this is okay to be shared. I don't think it's a secret. They're brewing all of their beer from bore water. And they were saying there's another brewer.
That's pretty common.
Maybe Tribe. Yeah. Well, it was one of the big ones. They kind of talked to them and said, like, they made the switch because when they looked at the water samples, the water out of the bore was better in basically in every way, more reliable than And they didn't have a bore before that. They're just like, if I could drill down, there it is.
Like straight out the brewery.
Yeah. That's
impressive.
Yeah. And they're doing, I mean, their numbers are public, so I think they're doing almost 20 million litres a year. Here's impressive. The thing from the Brew article. They IPO'd in 2016 with a market cap of 126 million, and after 4 days had a cap of 288 million. So
Right.
288 million is about what Little Creatures sold for.
Right.
That would make it $300 million would almost make it the most valuable beer brand or independent, I suppose, beer brand ever in Australia.
So it was worth $288 million and now it's 7.6 million.
7.6. Well, I just checked it before. What did I say it was? Yes, something like that. Yes.
That's it says in Brew's news article.
Yes.
It said when it IPO'd, it was 126 million. After 4 days, went to 288 million, and now its market cap sits at 7.6 million. Fuck,
yeah, it's 8.5 according to the current market cap, but this is a week or so old. But yeah, there you go.
I would still be very unhappy as a Brew shareholder.
So the most recent financial report, the 6 months to 31st December 21, revenues grew 8.5% to $500,000, but losses increased 200% to $3 million. Fuck me dead. So this company turns over $500,000 a year and loses $3 million. That's fucking terrifying. Should we do some predictions? What's going to happen?
It's hard to predict Brew now. It's people have said for many years that it'll go broke, and I think that's in its future. But I'm loath to sort of predict a time when that would happen.
Okay, I don't want to make a prediction either, and I don't want to be negative to other brewers. So, but I will say this: I'm obsessed with startup documentaries at the moment. There's one about Theranos and there's one about WeWork.
Yep.
And I watched it live happening as it was going. Are you familiar with those two stories, or Theranos in particular? Are you familiar with that one?
What did they do again?
One drop blood testing. Take one drop.
Oh, yes.
And I watched the story happen for so many years. It took a very, very, very long time for it to all fall apart. And when it fell apart in a spectacular way. And I think she got 20 years in jail, and hundreds of millions of dollars were lost. And it took a long time before generally people realized there's some weird shit going on to everything got figured out and it ended. So yeah, right. I guess if it is as bad as it seems,
yep.
Like you say, it might keep going for quite a while.
Well, like just keep getting new investment, that sort of thing, and
yeah,
I like how I do like how Matt Kierkegaard just chases him all the time, and he always hangs up.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
he rings in.
Yeah, because that's a journo, and
he should capture it live.
Brings up
for
it's kind of not Journo's job's really to write, not to do a current affair doorstop. So Matt's a much better journalist than that. But but it's always like in all these stories is like I reached out to Kent Grogan for comment and there was no comment or he hung up or something like that. It's hilarious.
Yeah. I'm guessing he's not going to take a call from Matt Kierkegaard. All right, we'll see. We'll see how that one plays out. I don't know what else to say about that. All right, we had a member of the group point this one out to me, which I just saw this and just didn't even really think it was real. But East Coast Canning designed a beer for Scott Morrison during federal election, and it's a fucking. I mean, what's worse? I'll ask you this question: what's worse than a zero alc beer?
Political beer.
No, a beer without beer in the fucking beer.
Oh, really?
It didn't even have beer in the beer. Alcohol aside. It was an empty can.
Who did this? East Coast Canning with the new canning printing.
The other thing is, how do they get a photo with a nice empty can like that with nothing in it?
Right.
Like, I'm zooming in. It doesn't even have a lid.
We know
on
what
it.
East Coast
It's angled
Canning
it.
do
It's angled it so you can't even see. It hasn't been sealed. So it's an empty, open can. They've printed all of these cans and there's nothing in it.
Yes.
I mean,
kind of like Scott Morrison, really, isn't it?
Wow. I mean, it's not a political. It's not a political show. This is not political advice.
I don't know. I just think it's just, yeah. Do you know what? Beer and politics just fucking shouldn't go together, eh?
Except for Bob
Every
Hawke.
time, you know, because it's just like, I drink beer to escape politics and all that sort of thing, you know. And I take an interest in politics. Don't get me wrong. I'm not the type of person who's got my head in the sand or anything like that. But at the same time, that's my leisure time, you know. And to mix the twos,
That's 100% fair. Can I just say, if you are going to draw attention to beer in Australia, which is a fucking national pastime and something that should be celebrated, put beer in the fucking can. What a worse way to do something than have a fucking empty can with the product not even in it.
Well, they're printing cans. That's what East Coast do now. That's
cool. That part of it is cool. The fact that they've got this printer that can print I actually don't know what the technology is, but if they can print the design of the can when they're packing the beer, that's fucking amazing.
No. They you know how you can get like the plastic shrink wrap cans, and you know, like companies will do that for you.
I know that we use them. Yes.
Yeah. So you can actually get them laser printed now in smaller MOQs. That's what East Coast Canning are doing now.
Like when though? Like when they're packing the beer?
No, that you just order like a small run of cans, smaller than the 40 or 50,000 MOQ that Visi whatever make you do. And
you can already do that. You can already do that.
Where? How?
Well, like we use shrink wrap cans for some of our limited.
No, but they're not shrink wrap though.
What do you mean?
They're printed. They're literally printed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So same as your.
But they can do food. No. These cans are not. Yeah, have a look. They're not printed. Look at them. Have a look at them. No,
it's printed.
Have a look at it. It's fucking shiny as shit. And is this a bad photo? That's not a printed can.
It's printed.
No. Okay, so why did you say shrink wrap cans then? I'm confused.
It's not shrink wrapped. It's printed.
But didn't you say shrink wrap cans?
No, it's like shrink wrap cans where you can have like, you don't have to label a can. You have it shrink wrapped.
Well, don't say it's like shrink wrapped if it's a printed can.
Well,
you're confusing.
Well, it is. It does have some commonalities with shrink wrap.
Fuck me, Dad. This is not shrink wrap advice.
Fridge. I can give packaging advice.
What? So they can do a fully printed can.
Yes.
At a lower
MOQ.
Okay. And well, that's cool.
Yes.
That's
it's not
awesome.
on site, but
No.
you just order, you know, instead of ordering a B double full, you order one pallet.
Well, that's a fucking game changer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I think that's cool. But anyway, if you're going to draw attention to the beer industry, include beer in your fucking can. That's my main point.
Agreed.
And don't link it to, I mean, how many beer drinkers like even, okay, let's say, this is not political advice, but like, okay, maybe he'll win the election. He's the current prime minister. That's all awesome. But including him in a campaign, is that likely to, do you want to do that? Like, do you want to, I don't know,
man.
He's not the most likable dude. Let's be honest.
No, he's not very likable.
All right, this is not
Scomos
political
Strong
advice.
Economy Ale.
Let's get to 12 questions.
Let's do it. What do we got?
Wait.
I'm not reading the 12 questions. You read the 12 questions.
You can't read it. It's got to be.
I don't read the 12 questions.
Do you want to explain how this works, though? But there might be someone listening to this for the first time.
Yeah, absolutely. So on our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Boss and the Brewer, where you can join, make sure you answer the joining question, which is who are the hosts of Boss and the Brewer? Wrong answers only. And come and join the conversation. We like to shit post and we like to have a good time. And so yeah, all right. So each week we ask every one of our 12 listeners for 12 questions, and each of those 12 listeners can ask 12 questions. So the potential there up to fucking 144 questions.
Yeah. Doesn't often though, does it?
No, not often, but we've been in the almost double 12.
Last week it was like 2 questions, and we were like, oh,
yeah.
Well, have you been approving members, or have we just not been getting new members?
I haven't seen any in a few days, but I've been away, so
that's fair. But you've had internet. Actually, you haven't, because they don't have it at Albert Park.
Mm-hmm. Saw that guy at the race though with the Black Ops shirt on.
Did you?
Yeah, I posted it on a fucking Facebook group.
Was it one of the 12?
Well, he is now.
That's awesome. I can't keep up with this fucking. We need shirts. Anyway, we'll talk about this later. We need to work. We need to work out the beer, shirts, merch, all of that.
Yep.
All that. Okay, 12 questions. A review of Scomos beerless beer can. I think we did that.
Done that.
Yeah, it's a disaster. Damien replies to. Sorry, Damien, original poster, says, I met him before the last election. He knew quite a bit about craft beer. He said he regularly got beer from hairyman.com.au.
Who's that? Who got the beer from there?
Scomo.
Really?
That's interesting. Well, that's nice to know he knew a lot about craft beer. What the fuck is it? Do you know this?
Well, one thing I will give the current federal government is they have in the last 5 years they have pushed through a lot of excise reform for brewing.
What the fuck is hairyman.com.au? Is this shit posting?
I don't think you should go there.
I'm here. There's a lot of bronze medals. There's Indies medals. There's Indie Seal. Go there, Hendo. Tell me what's going on.
Fuck. Is it soft porn or?
No. It's a brewery.
Is it hairyman.com.au?
Hairyman.com.au. There's beers.
Hairyman Brewery. Oh, okay. Oh, right.
What's happening?
Oh, these are the guys that got done by ABAC for their pop ginger ale. Pop ale.
That's all right.
You're not allowed to call. You're not allowed to use the word pop. Yeah. Okay. It's a brewery.
There you go. Well, that's cool. I've never heard of these guys, but
Sydney,
what's the Instagram? I'm getting on the gram right now. 4,000 followers. Local shipping. There you go.
In Karingbar.
Okay. Huh. They kept that quiet. The Willie the Boatman don't keep their association with Albo quiet at all. There's a lot of activity there. But there you go. All right. Hairy Man Brewery. That's good to know the PM likes beer. So either way, no matter what happens, our PM's going to like beer.
Yeah.
All right. Adam Shell.
Which one?
One of them.
Mm-hmm.
Question number 1. Are we, as an industry here in Queensland at least, expecting an influx of patrons now there's no check-ins without vaccination requirements? Do you want me to answer that, or do you?
Are we expecting more people at the pub now that there's no vaccination requirement from Thursday?
Yes.
What do you think?
Yes.
I think there'll be a slight uptick, but I don't think it's going to be that huge.
I think there already has been an uptick. I think.
Was it last Thursday? Or
I
this
think
Thursday?
I think that with the relaxing of restrictions, there's already more people back in venues, and having the vaccination thing will definitely help. Like I know we've got investors, people who own the business who can't come in and buy beer. And it's
because they're not vaxxed.
Shit. Yeah, we've got staff that aren't vaxxed. They can't.
Well, that's because you're on the Gold Coast and nobody's vaxxed on the Gold Coast. You fucking weirdos.
That's true.
Down there.
That's true. So yes, I am expecting more people, and I'm fucking here for it.
You should down the Gold Coast. Brisbane, it's going to be the same because we're normal.
That's fair. Perth, very, very big on the COVID restrictions.
Well, so's Melbourne. Pretty much every pub you walked into, you had to show your vax status.
Masks?
Public transport, yeah, but it's pretty lax.
Masks in Perth, like going from your table Like, remember when we went to
Mm.
Brisbane to the regatta for that beer,
Yeah.
and I couldn't get a beer because I didn't have a mask. I had to go back to
Yes.
the table, and you had to walk up and go get the beer.
Yes.
That's what it's like in Perth. You get up, go to the toilet, they ask you for a mask.
Yeah, fair enough.
Very much onto it.
Mm.
So that's question one. Question two, how do you, oh, this is a good one. I'm going to go get a beer. You can answer this
Right.
while I get my beer. And if I come back and my beer is a wine, that's because we have no sponsors. Right?
Okay. What's the question?
Adam Shell says, how do you gabs? 1 or 2 paddles and then sit on a few, or go hell for leather and try as many as you can? I'll be back.
Yeah, right. Okay. Gab's paddle strategy is the question. Okay, my personal Gab strategy is to not actually have a strategy. It's because generally when I go to Gabs, I'm on a bit of a serendipitous mission and don't know where I'm going to wind up. And I wind up talking with a lot of industry people who usually buy me a beer and that sort of thing, which I'm extremely grateful for. I might have 1 or 2 paddles at Gabs, and they've really got to be the beers that I am really interested in. Although I'm not really one of those people that goes and scours the Gabs list going, oh, I've got to try that, or I've got to try that. That's not really me, but I will have 1 or 2 paddles during Gabs, and sometimes it's okay. Very often it's disappointing, some of the beers. Sometimes I'll be like Dan and just reach for a red wine.
Yep. 19 crimes at Gabs.
Yep, absolutely. But I love Gabs, and I'm actually going back down to Melbourne for Melbourne Gabs specifically for that trip, as well as the RBA dinner and that sort of thing. So we'll be there, won't we, Dan?
100%.
You going to Gabs?
100%. We could do a meetup. That could be a good place to do a meetup. No, all of our lists, all the 12 are in Queensland, though, aren't they?
No, there's that one in Melbourne I converted last week.
What about Gabs Brisbane? Maybe we could do a meetup around Gabs
We could
Brisbane.
definitely do a Gabs meetup at Brisbane. Post that on the Facebook group.
Okay, let's do that. I'm not going to answer the question. I feel like we answered the question the same.
Yeah.
What's
the next question?
All right, next question. Paul Metcalf, this is big news about Starwood.
Mm-hmm.
Starwood, they make whiskey. This is not a whiskey podcast, though, is it? It's not whiskey advice.
I like whiskey, though.
All right. I'm going to click on that.
Mm-hmm.
Starwood sweeps San Francisco. Oh, this is one of those media release things. I don't know. Beer award. This is one of those media release things. Do you know how this works on Brews News? Like you see an article, but it's just like, it's not a Brews News article. It's like the manufacturer posts the article and they
Sponsored
post.
Sponsored post.
It's not. It's like a sponsored post, but it's not called a sponsored post.
It usually declares them as sponsored posts.
Well, it's not a sponsored post. It says content published under the media release byline is promotional content produced by the businesses named in the media release and remains unedited by Brews News.
Yes. So Matt,
no one understands this though, right? Because this is an example. Like he's posted in there saying, "There's a Brews News article. This is big news." It's not actually news, is it? It's
no.
The company is paying Brews News to post the press release.
Matt's pretty strict in what he posts on his website as promotional content. He gets press releases all the time from people about this and that sort of thing. And, and he only posts it if he feels that it's newsworthy. I get it.
No, but that's not true. There's press releases under here. Like it's like when there's like a Queensland Beer Awards, it's always like Revel have like a post about we won all these medals and it's published on Brews News, but it's not their article.
No, that's right.
But no one else is publishing press. It's very confusing. Like Paul is obviously confused about this being news as opposed to a sponsored post.
Yes.
I am also confused because I see articles like this and I'm like, I don't know if this is an article.
Should be in the title.
But it should say sponsored post, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
It's a media
promotional
release,
or
which
media
sounds
release
like
or
news.
promotional post. He does disclose it, but
Yeah. So it's not, and so it's not news. It's someone paying for that. So I don't know if it's a big deal. It could be. It sounds fucking good. They've won medals. I don't know. I actually think the whole thing with the way medals at beer awards work is quite misleading.
yes,
And it's a bit of a problem. And I don't really know how to fix it other than to say, I try to be careful with our results to not use the word won when we talk about medals, because you don't win something. In my mind, you don't win something unless you come first. So if you get awarded a gold medal, you should say you've been awarded a gold medal, but lots of people can get gold, so it's not a win. Is that, do you think that's a fair
You
approach?
win a trophy.
You can win a trophy, but you can't win a gold medal.
That's fair.
Yeah. Which is misleading, I think, to a lot of people who understand what a gold medal is.
Well, especially in that competition where it's like there can be more than one gold, more than one bronze, or none.
Yes. And so it's not demeaning what a gold medal is. It's a fucking awesome result. But if you get a gold medal, it's not a win. You've been awarded for the quality. And if you get a silver or a bronze, it's not you came third. I think the way a lot of this stuff gets presented is, we got a gold, 2 silvers and a bronze, and this is an amazing haul. I feel like it's a little bit misleading. And when it's presented as a press release, a media release, you think it's news, but it's not. It's promotional. It's people promoting their business in a slightly misleading way, I think.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was a can of worms I'm probably going to get in trouble for, but let's skip Star Wars.
Well, we'll probably talk about that closer to ARBA judging.
All right. Sounds good. Craig Maiden, does SEQ have room for another beer festival? I'm thinking more Brisbane. Reason I ask is since Beer and Cider left us and Beer Fest Australia have ignored us since 2020, we don't really have anything close to the CBD. That's a good question. Juicy Festival. Oh, yeah? What's that one?
Got announced this week.
Yeah, what's happening there? That's news. That sounds like news.
Go to juicybeerfestival.com and it's set up by Range Brewing. It's going to be at the Fortitude Music Hall. And 2 sessions and all beers included and some DJs and some of the best breweries in the country.
All right.
Gonna be at it. Let's see.
Is the Fortitude Music Hall the one that's in the aircraft carrier with the round roof?
No, that's the Triffid, mate.
Triffid, yes.
So who's going to be there? Banks, Brackett, Deeds, Dollar Bill, Fox Friday, Garage Project, Grifter, Hop Nation, Molly Rose, Mountain Culture, One Drop.
Dollar Bill and Molly Rose, aren't they they're like barrel aged?
Yeah. Range, Rocky Ridge, Sea Legs, Shapeshifter, Slow Lane, White Bay, Wildflower, and Working Title.
So are they all hazy? They're not all juicy hazy?
No. So there's going to be a lager lounge.
Oh, I see.
And a what do they call it? A stout.
Stout stand? Stout stall?
Stand.
Stout situation?
Something like that. A stout place.
Area.
They have stout.
Okay. All right.
So should be pretty good. Should be pretty good.
All right.
I hope to go. I don't know how much tickets are, but I don't even know when they go on sale. But it's all 100 ml tasters you can have.
100 ml. Is that like the Stone of Wood one that had the half?
Yeah.
That was good. That one was good. The Backyard Invitational. That's the best beer event I've been to. Other than Crafted. Crafted is fucking legit.
Festival of Stone.
Crafted. No. Backyard Invitational.
Where was that at?
They've done a couple. The one that I went to that we were part of was at Surf Stitch, like in the car park and in their factory, basically, in Burleigh. It was awesome. And it was like all you could drink, 150 mils, 10 breweries, fucking awesome.
Yeah, sweet.
that was great. And Crafted is awesome. Like it's definitely the best beer festival that I've been to by a fairly long margin.
Yeah, I haven't
And
done it.
I know
I'm
you're
keen.
hating on the Gold Coast. You know, that's
No,
fair, but
I'm not
it is
hating
a
on
very
it.
good festival.
I'm keen. I've just never had the chance to go.
Dude, get across it. We could do a meetup there. That might be a better place to do it.
Yeah.
It's cool as shit.
Gabs
But-
is coming up first. Let's do Gabs first.
That's true. I think there's a like beer and cider, like that was mentioned in the post. Crafted is a pretty good balance, but it's probably more about hanging out near the beach, drinking and listening to music. Beer and cider was very much about
It was a music festival.
yeah. And Gabs is about the beer, which is the coolest thing about it.
Yes. Yeah.
So you got to kind of strike that balance.
Yes. I love beer and cider. The music festival is great. Some great bands on. Saw some great bands over the years.
Yeah. Well, cool. So they're not doing that anymore, and they're not doing the beeries anymore.
No, I don't
either.
think so.
It was the
No.
same crew, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Bit of a shame.
All right. Adam Shell.
Which one?
Yep. One of them is in these comments saying, just need to get Brew's Vegas back.
That's true.
Yep.
We definitely need to have Brews Vegas back. It's been 3 years now. Don't even think it happened in 2019. So it's 4 years. Yeah, I think that definitely needs to happen again. I don't see a problem with it not happening this year because hospitality's gone through a lot of shit over the last couple of years. But I sincerely hope that it's back next year.
100%. I think it's interesting, like a festival like that that's organized by individual venues is challenging, but they did an amazing job. And that's what Good Beer Week was. And then the IBA took it over and then basically shut it, like didn't run it, right?
Yes.
So what's better? Like, is it better to have those festivals run by an organizational committee, or is it better to just have a grassroots thing, or an individual brewery like the Juicy thing? Range go like, I'll do it.
I think if you're going to kill two birds with one stone, is that Good Beer Week needs to go national and needs to be run by the IBA.
Well, do they have a good track record of running events?
Well, they've only run one Good Beer Week, but they have some good people. IBA has some good people organising events. But, you know, if the IBA is looking for something to take to the consumers, take Good Beer Week to the punters that way directly.
Yeah, I don't know, Hendo. I don't know about that idea. I feel like running events is a real grassroots kind of thing. The IBA is an association that kind of lobbies government for things.
No. They're also there to promote consumer awareness of independent beer.
Okay, but all right.
There's no Sydney. There's no Sydney. Well, and BrewCon.
No, BrewCon's for brewers. BrewCon fits perfectly.
Yeah. I think that there needs to be, we're not running Brews Vegas at the moment. We haven't had a Sydney Craft Beer Week in a few years, right? Because that's kind of disappeared and that sort of thing. And yeah, we need some more of those.
Yeah, I think what happens when you give an association the job of running events is exactly what's happened this year, which is they're not running the event. And a lot of the venues are sending out emails to people saying we're running the events anyway because it's a grassroots thing. And it's a local thing that we want to do.
Yeah.
So I would support not the IBA taking over events and Brews Vegas somehow being run
rising from the ashes.
Yeah.
Phoenix.
Yep. And if any of the 12 are keen to do it and need some support, hit me up.
12 Fest.
Keen for it. All right. Oh, wait. Phil Sharp replied.
Oh.
What will it be called next year when Hiker Brewing Concern is in the house? There you go. Hiker's in. When Hiker opens, they're part of Brews Vegas.
Great. I can't wait for them to open. Actually, it's going to be good brewing.
100%.
Good space. Good space.
Love Phil.
He's all right.
I feel bad, actually. I feel bad because that whole episode where we talked about Phil and Hiker and sung their praises was the lost episode. And I see him at work and I'm like, man, we were talking about, he listens to the pod. He's one of the 12.
Yes. Right.
So I feel
Get him
bad.
on the show.
Yeah, shit, yeah. Yeah, fuck
Talk
yeah.
about his brew build.
When they're closer to opening, 100%.
Yeah.
We need some more guests.
Sounds good.
And from next week, I'll be hopefully at my new, not my
Where are you at the
new
moment?
place. I'm at a friend's place, but I moved today.
Yes.
And I don't have internet.
Right.
But I do anything to get the pod going. You know that.
Right. Oh, you're at a friend's place recording.
100%.
Wow.
I do not have the internet at my house, so I'm going to
So
go
this
home.
is a temporary place you're going to be living in until your
Yes.
new house is built.
There's a lot of temporary situations, and I'm just hoping that the building company doesn't go out of business.
Renting on the Gox is shit at the moment, eh?
Oh, you got no idea. Yeah. But anyway, found a place. Doesn't have internet. Will have soon.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I move, well, actually, that place is cool. Once I get internet, we're going to try and do this YouTube live thing, which I think will work well for us.
Sounds good.
Next week, I don't know how long it takes to get NBN. There's last place had NBN, new place had NBN.
Took me 6 weeks to get mine here.
Fuck's sake. Don't tell me that. All right.
Oh, you're a legend.
Cheers, mate.
Catch you next week.
See you next week.